So that game took about 3 years off my life. That game took about 3 years off my life. I'm not gonna lie. And a historically great first half from Caitlin Clark. A brilliant, a pretty good third quarter, or first 7 minutes of third quarter. And then we saw the Erica Wheeler, Christy Side special. That's what we saw. That's what we saw. And obviously, we are trying to, we can hit 20.6k, that would be incredible. It'd be absolutely incredible. But that was a weird game. The Phoenix Mercury's entire team were injured. Except for the obvious player of the game, Kat Copper. I know. Some of you might be saying 11 of 25 is inefficient. She only had 3 of 11 from 3. She literally just did it herself. She had 36 points. She was going 1 on 5. She was literally just going 1 on 5. And, like, with Griner out injured, Sophie Cunningham played pretty well. The plus minus was plus 10 for Celeste Taylor in her debut. She's played more minutes today than she played for the Indiana Fever. And look, Celeste Taylor turned the ball over a little bit. She had 5 assists, 3 rebounds, and was an overall especially when they went to a zone, a positive on the defensive end. She only had 1 turnover, 2 steals. Like, she had 2 steals, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and was a positive on the defensive end. Celeste Taylor is 100 times better than Erica Wheeler. We got to watch. Look, Lexi Hull was not her day. Just was not her day. Like, she was, I don't know what happened, but it just was not her day. Kat Copper just got the better of her today. Erica Wheeler is the worst basketball player in the WNBA. That gets minutes. That gets frequent minutes. And I'm sorry, I would have taken 8 minutes, 33 seconds of Christy Wallace. Like, why is Christy Wallace getting 0 minutes a game now? I'm sorry, like, she's not been bad enough to get 0 minutes a game. She's not been bad enough to get 0 minutes a game. Look, she was not good enough to start, but not been bad enough to get 0 minutes a game. What the hell does Grace Berger have to do to get minutes? Genuinely. Like, Erica Wheeler, by the way, if you guys don't know what happened in that game, the reason, like, the Indiana Fever were up 30 with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. They were up 30. So, what does she do? She brings in Erica Wheeler. And to be fair, sorry, it's at 25. She brings in Erica Wheeler. But 2 possessions in, Mercury go into a terrible 2-3 zone. Or not even a 2-3 zone, a 3-2 zone. Or a 2-1-2, sorry. Where the players just stand there. They weren't active. They stood there. All you had to do was cut. Cut. And the only thing they did on defense was deny Caitlin Clark. That's the only thing they did in defense. They denied Caitlin Clark and stood there on everybody else. So a couple of possessions in, Caitlin Clark passes the ball to Erica Wheeler. She comes on the floor. No one within 10 feet of her. Pass. Then she gives the ball to Erica Wheeler. Again, the ball goes back to Caitlin Clark somehow. They all collapse on Clark in the zone. The ball goes back to Erica Wheeler. No one in 10 feet of her. Again, scared to shoot in the corner. Dribble. Step back, fade away, pass, turnover. That's the run. Started. They stopped guarding her. They genuinely stopped guarding Erica Wheeler. And they stopped guarding Lexi Hull. They stopped guarding Nalissa Smith. They stopped guarding, to be fair, they were guarding Aaliyah Boston. They were guarding Kelsey Mitchell when she was on the floor. Kelsey Mitchell, by the way, had 28 points in that game. She had 28 points. During the 17-0 run, I repeat, during the 17-0 run, at no stage did Christy Sides put Kelsey Mitchell back in the game. At no stage did she she put her back in the game during a 17-0 run. A person who ended the game with 28 points. Again, I'm going to talk about the game. I'm going to Christy Sides rant a little bit later. I'm going to rant fully about Christy Sides a bit later. But Caitlin Clark had the best first half I'd ever seen her play. And then the second half, she started off okay, but it then became keep away. It became keep away. It became Erica Wheeler show. She only played 8 minutes 33 seconds. It was the worst 8 minutes 33 seconds I've ever seen. Like, that 8 minutes 33 seconds was what changed the game. Like, that was, like, the fact, but in a way, it was actually the best thing that could have happened. It was probably the best thing that could have happened, because The Fever nearly blew a 30-point lead. Like, this was a 5-point game. They nearly blew a 30-point lead. I repeat, a 30-point lead with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. 30. 3-0. 30. And we also saw the incompetence of Christy Sides. If Erica Wheeler sees the floor in the next game, Christy Sides should be fired. Christy Sides should be fired tomorrow. And if she's not fired tomorrow, Lynn Dunn should be fired. If Lynn Dunn's not fired, I don't even know the guy's name, the owner of the Pacers should be forced to sell the team. He should be forced to sell the team. This team's a tax write-off for him. He could not care. He couldn't care less. But if Lynn Dunn and Christy Sides are in a job tomorrow, he should be forced to sell the team. It's like, they need to be investigated. They need to be investigated. Because I've never seen anything this bad. I've never seen coaching this bad in my life. But the positives. Kelsey Mitchell shot really well. Aaliyah Boston, I thought, had a good game. Like, how many blocks did Aaliyah Boston have? Like, Aaliyah Boston, I thought, did really well on interior. Only 2 blocks, it felt like more. Caitlin Clark was brilliant through 2.5 quarters, but just everything went to crap. Everything went to crap. And it's hard to say because a lot of people are like, oh, they would have lost the game if the Phoenix Mercury had all their players. But look, it's a different game if the Mercury have all their players. It is a completely different game. Like, if the Mercury have all the have their players, the Indiana Fever don't go up 30. The Phoenix Mercury coach doesn't decide to play a elementary school 2-1-2 zone where it basically becomes somewhere in between a 2-1-2 and a box and 1, where their tactic is to guard nobody. Their tactic is to guard nobody except Caitlin. They literally did not guard anybody. And that's the worst part about it. They didn't guard anybody not named Caitlin Clark. Like, they sometimes try to deny the pass to Aaliyah Boston, but they didn't really guard her either. They literally left everybody else wide open. And except for Kelsey Mitchell, but she benched Kelsey Mitchell during the stretch. It was the weirdest game of basketball I've ever seen. It is coaching incompetence of the highest order. And I cannot believe an elementary school 2-1-2 zone worked. I cannot believe that worked in professional basketball. And it only works because of an incompetent coach. Because of an absolutely incompetent coach. And for people thinking that this is the Christy Sides rant, this is not the Christy Sides rant. If you're watching this in video form, this is not the Christy Sides rant. This is the game breakdown. But also, Sophie Cunningham played well. Kat Copper, player of the game. Kat Copper, player of the game. There's a reason she's on Team USA. Absolutely superb. There's a reason why she's going to be on the all WNBA first team. And Celeste Taylor, you're a hell of a lot better than Erica Wheeler. You were a hell of a lot better than Erica Wheeler. Look, she wasn't spectacular today, but you know what? Celeste Taylor proved one thing, that she's a hell of a lot better than Erica Wheeler.